Hey, I'm Phelan, audio engineer and content creator, and I've mixed over 120 services and counting. And I'm going to show you just what you need to take your worship stream mix to the next level by next Sunday. Let's jump right in. Okay, now for this mix tutorial, I'm going to do a breakdown basically of the template. Now we have a standard, band or festival patch, as some will call it, right? So our first few channels, we got kick, we got snare top, snare bottom, tom 1, 2, and 3, overhead left and overhead right, right? And for our instruments, we have bass, electric guitar, keys, and something cool right here. We have two room mics pointed towards the crowd. And for vocal mics, have A, B, C, and D. A is the lead, and the rest are backgrounds. I think Chrissy comes in and sings leads sometimes, but the rest of these are mostly backgrounds, right? Now everything's flat, and the most important thing that I think is should be done first when live mixing is obviously do a line check, get everything level, but it's to get the drums kind of dialed in, right? And so the reason why I have these groups is so I can, bring down levels pretty easily, as you can see, right? It's for grouping and different stuff, things like that, like patching and, doing things on the fly, muting, we might want to mute all three of these at one time, and we might be using external control, and it's just easy to do it, when everything's grouped up and handle volume control and everything like that. So now I have a practice right here that I've recorded. This is all coming in via Dante from Allen and Heath. And we're just gonna get right into it, man. First, now I wouldn't do this live, but I would do this obviously in stream mix because we want a more controlled sound. If you're live in the room, you're hearing everything that's going on anyway. So things like gating kind of doesn't matter unless you're trying to, separate these sources. But a drum room, it's a drum room. But here we are in a stream DAW environment. So let's get it. Let's play this kick. I'm just gonna solo it. As you can see. Okay. Now, as you can see, this is hitting right at like 14s, peaking at like minus 14 dB, right? That is great. You don't really hear, and with this gate, it really doesn't even need a gate, but if you were having any bleed, you would bring that gate in. Let's see where the snare comes in at, where he starts actually tapping the snare. And let's bring that in. Everything's pretty separated. I love it. I love it. So let's go back. Let's go get this kick right. So it's gated. Okay. Now, the good thing about Ableton is they have their own little drum processor. So we can get into this. Start bringing up this drive pretty quickly. And you see now, it's hitting like -4. We're gonna dial that back a little bit. That's just to show y'all the effect that it can have. We also bring up this boom. This boom adjusts the low frequency enhancement. Right, so boom. This is high frequencies. Yeah. Anyway, that sounds pretty great. Now I'm gonna just EQ this also. Gonna take those highs out, a little low. Yeah. And see that boost around 160K that gives it more punch. We can do that. Yeah. Yeah, and as you can see, that sounds good with the snare. Let's get the snare right. Or it sounds good with the rest of the mix. Let's get the snare right. Let's see where I actually play it at. It's right here. Okay. Now let's try to gate this snare. You bring down that threshold. Right. Let's take out some of this rumble. Now let's bring back in the drum bus. Now this is where you're going to use that crunch to add distortion to mid-high frequencies. Let's play it with the rest of the mix. Nothing is better than you. And as you can already see, that already sounds 10 times better. That's basically just copy the same processing to the drum, to the snare bottom, right? So Control C, copy. And I also want to point out another thing with Ableton. You can Control A, select all these, and Control G, and make your own audio effect rack. And you can map controls to these macros, which just makes everything easy. Like, let's just try right here. We're gonna, like I said, this frequency gives you punch. We're gonna EQ that, or we're gonna map that to this macro, and I'm going to map the gain of it, because that's what's actually giving me the punch, is the gain at that frequency. I'm gonna map it to punch, right? So you can up that, or lower it, right? I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and faults. Yeah, and I guess I actually didn't record the snare bottom until then. These things happen where, you know, I'm running the board and this at the same time, so it happens. Maybe it wasn't routed, but let's go to the part where we're actually using that. Yeah. Okay, and let's listen to the snare bottom. Yeah, we're gonna try to get most of that snare, because the gate's not gonna be perfect. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. Now let's listen to the tom. Yeah, let's get a gate. Sometimes you gotta just listen. I know I might blank out. Sometimes you just gotta just listen, dude. You know what I mean? some more dynamic mix, we're gonna just copy, group that, copy it, paste, copy, paste, right.
You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can.
Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. Let's try to get these overheads right? The overheads is gonna be basically a picture of the full kit. So yeah, let's just try to get these right, man.
You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame.
And no need to gate right here as you're trying to pick up everything, right? No need to gate. Okay. Now we're just gonna try to tame some of that semblance because it's a lot of cymbal. You're not really picking up any low end, and so it makes your mix a lot brighter than it needs to be, in my opinion. I mean, like, there's no rules, but yeah, in my opinion, let's not make this super bright. Let's kind of shape the EQ. There's no hard rules here. Just shape the EQ, man. We could compress it, but we're gonna want to hear how this sounds with the full kit. You know, with everything. Yeah, we're gonna see how, I need to make a macro for that, but we're gonna see how this sounds with the full kit and kind of mix like that. Yeah, just like a little bit of EQ and compression. Slight compression. Okay. Let's add some reverb to this overall kit. Right now I just have a stock drum room verb, which the size of the room is at 2. You know, decay is at 1.2 seconds. So let's just add some to this overall mix. Let's listen to it. Let's add a little bit, let's drop a little bit more of that snare into it. Decrease that decay. Let's push the toms into it. Push the toms into it. Definitely push the overheads in it. That sounded pretty good, man. I don't know. I mean, as far as drums, that sounded great. Let's put a glue compressor on that and see if we can get a little bit more gooiness on that. Let's check our levels. That kick might be a little too high. We're losing a little headroom. That headroom. Like I said, there's no hard rules, but you don't want to distort it. bring these snares down a tiny bit. Yeah, let's hear that with the whole song, right? And the vocals are like still dry and everything, so. And so is our instruments.
You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones.
All right.
You give beauty for ashes.
Now, let's get into these vocals. Right? Now, wireless 58s. That's all these are. They're wireless 58s, right? The QLXD. So let's get right into it, man. Our our worship leader, he has a great voice. He just has a little bit of nasaliness in there, which you can hear. I have nasaliness in my voice too, so I'm not making fun of anybody, but it's just certain things, certain characteristics you're gonna notice about your singers that you're gonna want to take it out because it sounds harsh or it may not fit well in the mix. Okay.
I searched the world.
Right. First thing we're gonna do is EQ them, right? EQ that rumble out just a little bit, like at 100 hertz.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade.
Just a slight dip at 190.
I searched the world,
Okay.
but it couldn't fill me.
Okay. Let's go ahead and add a de-esser. We're just gonna use a stock one. I'm trying to teach you guys how to use stock because not everybody's gonna have Wave, Slate, plugin alliance, but we're gonna get into that because that's where the real fun comes in, right? When you combine the higher end tools, but we gotta learn the basics, right? De-esser, it's just a compressor that is only compressing certain frequencies. Obviously, mostly the highs where the sibilance comes in. So right here, this stock de-esser is compressing. It's compressing at 6 kilohertz, right? So 6,000 kilohertz. So we are going to listen for this and kind of maybe adjust this frequency range a little bit.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together, and every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing.
Let's add another compressor, which is compressing the whole thing.
I searched the world.
Light ratio, slow attack.
I searched the world,
Let's add another one.
but it couldn't fill me.
And that's how you're really gonna get that gain and that tone.
Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough.
And he's the lead vocal, so he's the most important, right?
Then you came along
Make sure he's shining, right?
and put me back together, and every desire is now.
Now, you're not gonna want to do this while you're mixing. You're not gonna want to frequency sweep and separate that stuff, right? So you're gonna want to have a general area. So like I said, he's a little nasally. That's going on in the 1 to 2K range, right? So we're gonna only dip. We're not gonna attenuate, right? We are going to dip. So let me play this. Let me solo him.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise.
I think that's the sweet spot. And we're gonna bring in a channel EQ just to add some more tonality and kind of show where he's killing it at. Let's do this. Let's look at this. And the channel EQ is EQ with color.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together.
That sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna get into tuning or any of that because when you're mixing live, there's a lot of things that can go wrong with the tuning that you can set it to like a low speed, but I'd rather it not tune because there's just stuff that can go wrong. You can forget the key, put the wrong key, and it'll just sound like crap, and there's no way to redo that. So just keep the tone off, keep the auto tune off. We're gonna go over a way to do auto tune, but for beginners, I just wouldn't use it. Just rely on their voice. You just better sound good, man. I can't fix everything. I'm not a miracle worker, and only God is. So we're gonna stick with that. So right now we're just gonna add a little bit of space in his vocals. So we're gonna run it to reverb, right? So we're gonna get a stock reverb. I usually have like Verb Suite or something, but we're just gonna use like a little stock reverb. We're gonna use medium stage, right?
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough.
And there's like what you're gonna be playing with is the decay and the size of the room and pre-delay and low and high cut. Early reflections, you don't have to worry about that much. Chorus, you can play with it and stuff, but your bread and butter is gonna be this decay, size, and pre-delay, right?
I searched the world.
Pre-delay controls the delay time in milliseconds before the onset
But
of the first early reflection.
Me. Man's empty praise and treasure.
Decay is the diffusion tail to drop off.
I searched the world.
As you can see, that's in its extreme sense. So, yeah, you're just controlling when it stops.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough.
Yeah, and as you can see, dude, we only use like what? Did I add another compressor? I didn't mean to. Yeah, I don't think I'm even doing anything with that. But yeah, we only use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plugins just to get them right? So look at that.
I searched the world,
and nothing too crazy, like a little bit of,
but it couldn't fill me.
Turn the reverb up a little bit.
Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together, and every desire is now satisfied here in your love.
And guitar sounds great. Let's go ahead and let's mix the bass. Let's go ahead and mix the bass, right? So bass guy, let's see where he's coming in at. He's sounding great. as he always does. Just gonna EQ him a little bit, right? You can't hear that rumble at 20 hertz anyway. Our human hearing is only from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, right? Yeah. I roll off some of that top end. We're just gonna add like some saturation to him actually. You know what? And actually what we're gonna do is we are going to duplicate. Oh, no, I just want to duplicate the chain, right? And we're gonna have basically a dry. Rename this. So basically what I did there was made this Control A, selected all the plugins, press Control G, made this audio effect group, and then came down to this, which is, you know, the chain list, right? Made a dry bass. This is the dry bass, right? And this is gonna be the super compressed, saturated bass, right? And we are going to add a saturation plug-in, which is just basic saturation, right? Just gonna drive it a little bit and let's see how it sounds. All right, I'm just gonna blend these two together. Right, I'm just gonna drive it into it.
Probably won't swell up underneath him.
Right, he sounds great. Now let's mess with this guitar, right?
I searched the world,
Low high cut.
it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough.
And we're just gonna make
Then you came along
a couple cuts, nothing crazy.
and put me back together.
We can add some saturation also.
Every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better.
I got, you know, church reverb preset basically with the long pre-delay, long big size, big decay, long decay, right? Yeah, we got that driving in. Yeah, we got the guitar driving into that. Let's see how it sounds.
And he will pray us in.
Sounds good, right? Not really doing much with it either. I mean, it's already a pretty great dynamic instrument. I'm not gonna add any, you know, compressor to it just to what make it compress it a little bit, right?
That fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together. And every day
keys sounding great. Now I'm gonna shave a little bit of that bass off, just because it clashes, right? Getting jazzy over here, man. I'm telling you, dude. Such a... All right, now let's work on these keys. Yeah, put a little reverb on them. You can also, I mean, a little bit of chorus. I mean, you can get creative with it. You really don't even need to do anything else at this point. You have a pretty good mix, right? So listen to that.
Are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together.
Let's get into these background singers, right? Chrissy, strong female singer, usually, you know, sometimes does lead, right? We are going to basically do the same thing with everybody's voice. I mean, like, it's not that hard. I mean, you're going to have some other nuances that you're going to have to deal with, but everybody's pretty much going to need the same thing, right? Okay.
Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing
You're just going to be like mostly
better
leveling.
than you. Oh, there's nothing.
It's all about leveling.
Nothing is better than you.
Now, for my strictly reverb people, I'm going to cut out a lot of their lows and highs because this is like more of a studio environment, right? If live environment, like, yeah, we're trying to hear everybody, but studio, we want this to sound like a song, you know? Let's hear my sibilants. We want this to sound like a song, right?
Nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing
And we're gonna drench them in reverb, right?
better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Now I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley.
And the thing that's gonna bring all of this together is gonna be the room reverb. It's gonna really give you that you know, in that presence, like that in the room, like that dynamic reverby feeling, right? And we're gonna compress the heck out of it, and we're gonna bring it up, and we might do a little bit of, you know, EQ, right? You bring some channel EQ, some tonal EQ, and that's what really brings it all together, right? Like I said, these are two SM57s, two dynamic mics on stands pointed towards the crowd, capturing the room ambiance. All right. Right, that's gonna bring it all together.
Now I'm not afraid to show you my weakness,
Let's take out some of those
my
mid highs.
failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley. And there's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you.
Now, let's add a little bit more reverb to this. Now, what a lot of live sound guys, and sound guys in general, they're gonna make a snare bomb, right? Snare reverb with a long decay, right?
Better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you.
Bring down the vocals a little bit.
You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing.
Okay, and there you have it, guys. That is a quick way to use Ableton stock plugins to make your mix sound 10 times better. Next, we're gonna go through and we're gonna use Slate Digital Waves plugin bundle and plugin alliance and kind of show you some things we can do to get more out of the mix and sound way more professional and way more like a mega church, right? So stay tuned for the next one. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Download the template if you want to work with me, or if you want any consultations or need help on your worship live stream mix, man, hit me in the email or let me know if you want my template. I'm gonna have a link below. And yeah, man, let's get it. Let's keep creating. P Digital TV. I'm signing out.